viewers, welcome to your program Development Zone, where we celebrate achievers, unveil the core potential of our nation, and also celebrate those who have contributed immensely to the business of our country. Today on the program, we'll be talking education, and we'll be chatting with Chief Abayomi Otubela, the National President, National Association of Proprietors of Private School. He'll be unveiling to us the journey so far, the achievements since he has been office as the National President. Sit back, relax, I'll be right back.
National Association of Proprietors of Private Schools is an umbrella body of all private schools in Nigeria that is set up to cater for the welfare of members, of teachers and students who are within the member schools, and with the hope of supporting government for nurturing for national development. In a statement, the association is to see that we develop young Nigerians for a greater impact in nation building. Yes, our founding fathers has done a great job to give us a platform and a foundation to build on. An assumption in office in 2019 November, we were able to first and foremost pay visit to all the major 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria, from northwest to northeast to north central, southwest to south and to southeast, where we had meetings with leadership of our association from all the states in each of the zones, and there we were able to get feedback of the journey so far within each of the zones. It was revealing. It was an experience that actually gave us the roadmap to adjust our agenda to suit to the yearning of our people. For instance, within the northeast and northwest, the yearning is more of the fact that we need to look more into Islamic education in our curriculum. Not forgetting that not too long when we got to office, we launched a National Association of Proprietors of Private Schools curriculum, and we broke it down to scheme of work as a teaching tool. So for the first time, we were able to have a joint scheme of work that we can use to support that of national curriculum and other curriculum which schools are adapting to. So we realized that in the northern part, there is a need for us to do more about the Islamic religion, and we're able to adjust into that as we go. We also see that the level of exposure, enlightenment in terms of competitions within school to schools, within zone to zone and state to state will go a long way to bring those less privileged states educationally to match up with those states that are doing great in education. So we launched what we call Children's Day competition. In Children's Day competition, we had something like the debates competition, quiz competition, skill, detecting the skill of inherent skill of individual child. And the first time in 2021, we had the first national competition in debate competition, where the finalists we had from Kwara State, Oyo State, Lagos State, and at the end of the day, they all converged in Lagos State, where they slug it out and the winner emerged. It was the first time we will be having such a national competition in our association. Aside that, when the curriculum and the scheme we launched were accepted by the majority of our members, we launched again what we call a unified national examination that assesses the children from nursery to primary down to secondary. I mean both junior and senior secondary. Every term we come up with questions that are standard set by professionals, and we assess the input of the teachers all over the country. This we have done every term for about 2.5 years since inception of this administration. And the impact of this during the monitoring and evaluation of our program is that we have seen that we are beginning to bridge the gap between the level of education in the south to that of the north. We are also able to expose our children to WAEC, NECO, JAM standard format of education in the senior secondary school so much that it has in a way um, um, brought down to a minimal level anyway the level of failure in external examination. We also have used this to assess the teachers, because with this timely uniform examination, teachers no longer uh, be responsible for setting of the end of the term questions or end of the year questions. This question comes from the national body. So it doesn't matter what are the environmental challenges or delay that could affect the process of teaching and learning. What matters is that teacher must find alternative way to cover the schemes and the syllabus, because the question that is coming is not from the teachers that could have easily set based on the area covered, but the question is set based on the expectation of the curriculum and the scheme. And teacher had no choice any longer than to cover this scheme deeply and not to just teach it because they know that most of the times before now they assess the student themselves. So we have also seen a situation whereby it has brought the teachers on their toes. Also, schools owner can now be able to understand which of the teachers are doing fine and not doing fine. Parents also are beginning to have value for their money because they are no longer under the nemesis of what the school dish out to them in terms of standard of questions that children will be assessed to. So it has been a wonderful time in the area of evaluation and assessment of the children in the class. We also had situation to intervene from government policies and government attention to running of private school, especially during the lockdown. And during the period of COVID-19, when all schools had to be shut down because of public health. We have a situation where schools can no longer pay teacher salary for months during the period of lockdown. And since the school fees is the only source of revenue to pay teachers and non-teaching staff, we had to look for alternatives. So the association had to intervene by seeking federal government support, and this resulted into what we call palliative for teachers. So our members who had their school registered with Corporate Affairs Commission and of course have their schools approved by the government of the states they operate for were able to get support from federal government through the palliative program by paying about exactly 3 months salary of a minimum of 30,000 naira per teacher was given to them, and that was as a result of the intervention, the activities of the association in terms of advocacy. So aside the advocacy during the COVID-19, we have also done a whole lot of advocacy to ensure that education in Nigeria keeps going stronger. We also had an advocacy in the area of getting out the children out of the streets. Over 10 million children are said to be out on the streets by UNICEF. We had a proposal to the federal government through the minister on one of our courtesy visits to the minister that in NAPPS we had prepared to take thousands of these children out of the street through our NAPPS Foundation that is meant to look after different scholarships that are available within private schools in the country. We further encourage members who are already doing some scholarship before this current administration to also bring up the number of children they admit for scholarship on a yearly basis. And those who are not doing at all or who have not seen the direction on how to do it were also enlightened on the benefit of corporate social responsibility. So under that means, we are able to assist government to bring some children out of the street by giving them full scholarship. We had also ensured that we got funding for our members. That is another amazing areas. We had intervened in ensuring that running school become easier during this administration. We had a discussion with some national banks, including First Bank of Nigeria, FCMB, that is First City Monument Bank, and the host of others. But FCMB and First Bank in particular have been very supportive to education during this regime, where we had to negotiate the interest rate downward to about 12.5% per annum as against 22 to 25% that is available in the market. So for about 2 years, counting, we have had our members sourcing for funding through bank at 12.5% per annum. That is an average of about 1% per month, which is any where one can get that in the country. We also secured this financial concessionary interest rate without collateral, meaning that all they need to do is just to become a member of the association. We profile them, we do a report to the bank about them, and that would be sufficient enough to grant them this loan. And this is still ongoing as I speak with you, and this has made a lot of schools to have some expansion, some renovation, some improvement, and additional instructional material that has affected positively the process of teaching and learning over the school. We have run a lot of capacity program also for school owners, for teachers in terms of school development plan, the 21st century teaching pedagogy for teachers, and also for parents. I remember during the time of COVID-19 lockdown, when there are anxiety all over the country, and we have to get experts from psychological departments of some of our medical centers, where members of the staff and parents were taught about mental health, because then COVID-19 was more about the physical health, and that eventually led to people getting some psychological challenges which affected their mental health. And we look into that. We got counselors within the schools, and that also assisted a lot to bring back sanity to how we react to the issue, and the anxiety will also step down. To be a member of the association, first and foremost, you must be an investor in a school business. You must own a private primary school or early childhood education or secondary school, or both. It also includes the university, private school university. However, the association is voluntary. You must also be ready to pay annual dues across all board of the association, which means that you belong to one local government, then to a state, then to a geopolitical zone, and national. You also should be ready to attend programs, monthly meetings, and our annual national conference. You must also be of a good character, and you must shun examination malpractice. You must run a school with our own set minimum standard. That's the criteria. We had leveraged so much on the information technology to deliver training to students, teachers. I want to start with one of our major partners, which is School Try Technology. School Try Technology is an IT company that have developed educational software, and they came to rescue during the COVID-19 lockdown and gave all members of NAPPS free access to their solution to use for about a year, immediately when COVID-19 lockdown came in, and some months after, before they started asking school owners to start paying for the services. And even up to now, they still support. We also want to appreciate the support Adverse Technology is giving to members of NAPPS, supporting us by capacity building free of charge. And I also want to mention that apart from this, we also have some other IT companies who have supported us in terms of leveraging on technology to impart knowledge in children. Aside this, we also realize the importance of instructional materials, and we know that using of audiovisual, using of electronic gadgets to teach, to impart knowledge, can only make the children more attentive. So we adopt the use of mobile phone to leverage on getting resource materials. We adopt the use of interactive board to impart knowledge. We leverage on some software skill that can connect multiple systems together and interact, from where teacher passes questions and student can answer, and they go through the intranet. At times it has not to be internet. So within the school system, we set up what we call an intranet, and we can impart it. But I must say that the challenges we're having is the fact that the power supply to many of our member schools is coming at a very short range, in the sense that power is not consistent. In some cases, there are absolutely darkness, and the cost of alternative power solution is also not affordable in most cases. As even solar system, there are limitations to what solar system can also power in terms of our equipment, and the affordability of even the solar system and power generator is also another issue. It has come with its own challenges beyond those physical ones you have seen. There are instances where children abuse the use of the internet, and they visit some unholy sites, adult content, and a whole lot of cyberbullying, and a whole lot of them that we are fighting currently. But as those challenges are coming, so also we are getting solution by getting software that capacity. There's a solution called capacity that is meant to be adopted for parental guidance on the use of system. This solution allows parents to monitor what their child is doing on their phone remotely once it is installed in both phones. And a whole lot of similar solutions we have also adopted to ensure that we can monitor what the children are visiting, and we can also refrain or restrain the children from visits on holy sites. Yes, it is a national disaster to talk about the security challenge we are facing in running school these days. It has added to our cost of operation. It has also created fear and anxiety among the stakeholders in the industry. We had instances where, with a little panic, children are not allowed to attend class. I can remember the era of NSAS, when school were also had to return to lockdown in some states, including Lagos State. The militant attack on school and kidnapping is also a case that we are still battling with. But as proactive as we are in our association, we have come up with policies on school safety, where we have standard of area of schools that we need to, areas of security that we need to improve on, and the template has been circulated among members, which cut across the fact that we need to have a perimeter fencing among schools who do not have such fenced, with entrance and exit gate. We also have to get our security personnel trained on the trending and emerging issue on security. We also have to form a committee, a school-based committee, that will look into the policies on security and ensure the implementation and the adherence to such policies. We had also looked at a situation whereby even children themselves had been engaged in discussion on the need to know about what to do in terms of emergency and security tips that can keep them safe both at home and at school. We had also looked at a situation whereby parents are also engaged to know, to have what they need to do about this security challenge we have. Aside that, we have interacted with security outfit like the police, where we have relationship with every nearest police division to all schools. Numbers are shared in case of sharing of intelligence and information. We had also had seminars, workshop among members and community. We had also had to invest in the community security of vigilante within a community where schools are located. We had also looked at a situation where all schools have power with CCTV to ensure that there are cameras to monitor what happens in the school 24/7, where there are no power supply. As the case is in many places, we have installed solar power to power the CCTV, and where there are no solar power, we have also looked at buying a small plant that works on petrol to work mostly in the night, where the solar power sunlight has no battery for backup. And this also had increased so much surveillance within the school system and has been able to push some of these bandits backward. But there are still much around us to live with, and we can only hope that we will continue to develop capacity to fight this militancy and ensure that our schools are safe, our children are not fearful, and schools are calm for learning. Region of Ijebu from Ogun State. I had my training in education. I've been a teacher for over 30 years, and I had worked in both public and private sector before we established Lagos Schools. Lagos Schools is a co-curricular educational system where we had both the primary and secondary, and our skill acquisition center where we expose children to automobile training, panel beating, electrical aspect of automobile, and ICT centers for those who want to learn how to write code, develop software. We had run this school for over 20 years and still counting. Over 12,000 plus children have been graduated out of the school since inception, and we had so many of them who are doing well in their chosen environment. We also have a foundation called the Otubela Foundation, where we support indigent children to have quality education within urban centers. We had supported children into university to have university education even when they graduate from our schools, and we can research that they are from indigent family and they have what it takes to do well in their academics. And married to Yeye Olivet Ebonluwa Otubela, and we are blessed with 3 children. Without not playing to the gallery, it has not been easy to balance work and family, I must confess, except in December when I deliberately stay off work. Once it is December, from second week in December, I tried not to attend to any official work. This is when I create time to attend to family and extended family. I do this from second week to third week till second week of January, and that is the only time I have. But at times when I have deadline and some important things to finish up within that December, at times I dig into the third week of December before I go on holiday, and I think I try to take about 2 to 3 weeks minimum. Sometimes it could be 4, 5 weeks, so depending on the work schedule. Then apart from this, once in a while I try to see that my traveling does not hit into the weekend. So once it is Friday, wherever I am, I try to get back home by Saturday and have my Saturday partly but fully, I often have my Sunday with my family when we go to church together. And however, I must say that above all, it has been a very challenging experience to combine this responsibility and to still have a social life. Not only my family, my friends, acquaintances are also having challenging having my time. But as I grow up in the administration of this association, I'm beginning to improve on what to do to balance both sides. I want to say that the process of national development is a responsibility of all of us. We often say that we have leadership problem in Nigeria, hence the reason for our underdevelopment and daily challenges we are facing. I rather want to see it from a different angle, in the sense that leaders emerge from the populace. So many of our leaders today were not, they didn't fall from heaven. They emerge from the populace of Nigeria, and we determine who becomes our leader. Yes, there could be rigging, there could be manipulation of results, but that can only happen where we have so many docility in the populace, where people don't participate in politics. Our civic responsibility has to be on top notch. When we have good number of people casting their vote and ensuring that they stay by their vote to count, little or nothing will politicians do to manipulate that result. So we want to advise that every one of us, home and abroad, should try and ensure we have our PVC in place and we participate in electing our new leaders, and ensure that we also call for accountability when our leaders get there. There are different rights we have to demand for information about how the resources of this country are being used. And as much as we demand for this from time to time, the more we bring it to the consciousness of our leaders that we are watching and we are going to demand for their roles, their activities where they are in power. And that is the only way Nigeria can get better. I wish all Nigerians a very brighter Nigeria in the nearest future.
Welcome back. Like we heard from our guest today, a lot has been achieved under his able leadership since as office as national president of NAPPS. I also use this medium to also assure the members that a lot of palliatives, a lot he has in stock to offer during his time in office. He has also assured every one of us out there as Nigerians that we should also come out, cast our votes, stand by our votes, and make sure that Nigeria get better. Because Nigeria belongs to every one of us. Till I come away again, I'm many host Joseph Uzwapon. Bye for now.